When developing her solo show The Ex-Boyfriend Yard Trade, theater maker Hayley McGee was floundering for an ending. A friend said to me, stop trying to write an hour of material. Just write everything you need to write. Also you'll find an ending, also you can go and choose. So I wrote everything I wanted to write, reports McGee. When I read it out loud it was 6 hours long, and words. And I told that to my friend, she said you wrote a book. 4 times laterally, The Ex-Boyfriend Yard Trade is a book, acclimated from the mega heat show that McGee premiered in 2018. Its trip from stage to runner isn't unique. Funny man James McNicholas has just acclimated his Edinburgh hit The Boxer, about his middleweight champion granddad Terry Downs, for publication as The Champ and the Chump. I saw 2 comedy shows this month. Glam rose from Chu Ran to Queen and Njambi McGrath's Accidental Coconut, whose material has also had the erudite treatment, in books developed alongside the stage shows. I do suppose solo shows are nearer to books than to plays with multiple characters, says McGee. There's room for composition, in the way that there is frequently in traditional plays. I spoke to McGee, who I know from Camden People's Theatre, where I work and her show premiered, and to McNicholas about binding their stage work between hardcovers. What do you gain, and lose? For both, the great occasion was probing important deeper into the raw material. I remember the moment I published out my borderline show, says McNicholas, a member of sketch troupe Beasts before the Boxer launched his solo career. It was 18 runners long, and I allowed that's not really enough for a hardback book. It was dispiriting to get that up to words. But it was also gratifying to claw into aspects of the story I'd had to leave out. Times before appearing alongside Jodie Whittaker in Doctor Who, McGee was a skint-jobbing actor. Her show is about her experience trying to pay the bills by auctioning off gifts entered from ex-lovers. To do so, she has to calculate their value, and is determined to take sentiment, the quality of the relationship, its duration, how it ended, etc., into account. The stage show was packed with endlessly discursive material but still traded in ridiculous brevity. In the show, you could have fun saying, this was a veritably significant relationship, so I won't give this particular gift any time, says McGee. But in the book, it did work to do that. It sounded like we had to give every item its due. The book also includes a whole new background story covering the state of McGee's romantic life while she cooked her show and developed its fine formula for the cost of love. I wonder how it felt to include material in the book that must at one point have been rejected from the original show. Did these players-turned-authors ever feel contemptible shelling this stuff back over from the slice room bottom? There was a section on the history of yard deals that I desperately wanted to keep in the show, recalls McGee. But it did work, and we cut it. Also when we put it in the book, it got reduced, and it's now about half a judgment long. So the effects that got cut from the show eventually got cut from the book too. McNicholas felt that the unused material from his stage show about his granddad's remarkable career and the shadow he cast over James's life was rich enough no way to feel alternate class. Having done the exploration and published the book, I still protest myself when I suppose of stuff I did put in. Which suggests to me that I was short off material. So much for the process. Further striking were the new pressures they both felt in the erudite rather than performance world. In McGee's case, these related to a lack of control she endured when writing for publication only. On stage, I feel like I've control over how the followership receives the story. I can make adaptations if I feel like they're not understanding or enjoying. I can decelerate down, add a judgment or give them a look to undercut commodity that feels too sincere. I just have so numerous effects at my disposal to guide them through the story. The scary thing about the book wasn't having that control. It also meant that whereas in a live show, every time you do it you can make little tweaks, with a book what you publish requirements to be perfect. McNicholas, first and foremost a ridiculous, perceived a different pressure, the pressure not to be funny. The first draft I submitted, my editor told me, you do nt need to do as numerous jokes, and I was like, oh. I worked hard on those, but it was interposing my inflow, and for the anthology, that's quite protrusive. For my instability about being funny to present itself in the form of a joke, every paragraph was gratuitous. That was a big assignment and a good one, because being less funny allowed other themes and beaches to come to the face.